YouTubers, check me out. Exciting purchase. I've gone up in the world. I've bought myself a very cheap little phone tripod so I can begin to take a few more videos without hand holding all the time and making you all seasick. So this very stabilized, no expense spared, stabilized video will feature a little bit of rather fancy tripod footage partway through, so look out for that. Today I'm going to replace the gear gaiter, which is a little bit worn, it's a bit dried. Obviously the original gaiter, I should imagine. Replacing it with this nice fresh gaiter from Steve Lewis SAAB. So first thing, a little bit of a heave-ho and pop off the gear knob. The leather gaiter itself is just held in place with a wire that just sits all the way around underneath that little lip. So you just prise that off corner by corner. Then that reveals the selector mechanism underneath. There's 3 25 torques, 1, 2 and the other one just there. So once they are removed, that whole unit pops out, and what we then have, you can ignore all of this stuff down here, none of that is of any use to us for the moment. So what we then have is the gear gaiter itself that we're wanting to remove. Now you can see a couple of bits of elastic there. They sit around that indentation just there. So I've already removed that one, and there's another one a little bit higher up just there. So you've got 2 bits of elastic that all I've done. I didn't want to chop those off. It may be that I just replace those with a bit of elastic or zip tie, whatever it might be on the new gaiter, but I just thought that I would wind those off for now. It's just got a screwdriver underneath them and just wound them out of place, and then that means that the gear gaiter itself is pretty much ready to be removed. So the gear gaiter, I've just begun to now pull it up over the top of the gear lever where the gear knob would go. So it's just a matter of wiggling that through until that is fully removed. And there you go, that gear gaiter is now off the car. And pretty much the reverse of the process that we've just gone through. So that just needs to slide all the way in place and then have the gaiter itself locked in place on the inside with a bit of elastic or a couple of zip ties. Well, you'll learn something new every day. Having slipped the old boot off the top here, you can see the opening for that gaiter there is significantly larger than this one. So what now needs to happen is this collar needs to be removed, and the way to remove that one is at the very end. Let me see if I can show you it. At the very end there is, if I press the bottom, so this is the reverse lockout, so you lift the collar there to be able to get the car into reverse. So if I push the bottom of that, you can see hopefully that there is, if I push it up and down, there is a spring there. It's that bar that needs to come out, and that's a threaded bar. So all you simply do is spin, 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 and you can see it's spring loaded. This piece then drops out the bottom, and that will then enable the collar to then lift entirely off. And you'll see there the hook that I was talking about a moment ago. So that comes all the way off like so, and that then means that this collar is removable. So with the plastic piece now removed, you can see obviously that was never going to go through there. So we'll squeeze that end into the gaiter. So it just needs a bit of a push, push, push all the way through, and there we go. That then gets the gaiter positioned properly. Now if we turn the gaiter inside out, we can see there that ideally what we could do with is in the same way that the factory gaiter was fitted, there's a little recess all the way around there. So what we'll do is, I think to be honest, a zip tie to sit nice and tight all the way around there, then we can fold it inside out again. Okay, so we've got a zip tie in place there, so just fold the gaiter inside out once again, get it nicely positioned, and then of course the rod, the reverse lockout rod, has to go back in. So nice and easy. You'll see the recess just in there, that's the threaded end as well. Just give that a quick clean actually. Give that a blast of WD-40 and just put the tiniest little spot of grease on there as well, just to keep it all happy. You can also give this a good clean as well. There's probably 30 years of dust and muck and gunk that's accumulated in the end of that lockout piece. Give the spring a good clean as well. Put a bit of tissue in there and just keep on winding it through. You can see all of the gunk that is nicely accumulating on the end of the tissue there. Very nice. Blimey, that's pretty grim. It's looking somewhat nicer. So now pretty much ready to reinsert. So the bar with a hook goes that way and sits just in the end there, and then the threaded bar is going to sit all the way through into the shaft itself. So we'll pop that in as well and retrieve the threaded bar that's just dropped out. So there we go. So that is going to go into there all the way through. So that is located just in there, and the threaded end can now go into there. Now of course what's going to happen is as I try to try to screw this end piece back in, it's going to keep on pushing the bar up there, as you can just see where my finger is. So I'll just use a little something, use a little bolt just to hold that hook in place, sorry, while I can then press that into place. And there we go, that is now taken up, that's in place, and we have once again a nicely operating reverse lift, nicely cleaned up and greased. So now it's just a matter of reassembling the rest of the mechanism. Again, before I do that, this one is a little bit gunky, so I'm going to give that a good clean. So after a quick clean, this is all looking somewhat cleaner. This just needs to reinsert now. You cannot possibly get this the wrong way around, because as you can see there is a hole for a lock pin, and it will only line up one way. It wouldn't possibly go that way around. So there we go, the split pin is now properly inserted. So now it's just a matter of refitting the gaiter underneath that lip, boshing the new knob on. Again, no puns required, and we are done. And there we have it, the finished article with a nice OEM genuine SAAB shifter. When I did my, or when I had, should I say, my previous 900 Classic, which was a convertible. TR Autos in Somerset, who I've mentioned before, they're absolutely fantastic. They did a manual conversion on that one, and they fitted a jam SAAB short shifter to it, and it may be at some point that this ends up with a short shifter as well. We shall see when we come down to doing the kind of like the nice refining bits and pieces like that. But another little job ticked off the list, just to smarten up the interior that bit more. And I've also just emailed the guy to get the code for the stereo, because that's all plugged in, and you can see it is requiring a code that I don't currently have. So once that is running, I can then start to get this EQ wired up and see what we've got there as well. So nice little bit of 40 minutes or so there, 50 minutes. Successful little job.